pretty excited to be back in the ops room sharing these. We're going to be doing these weekly from now on. They have been monthly for the last few months, but weekly seems like it's going to be a really good rhythm. There's been a bit of interest, so yeah, I just thought I'd make myself available and try and answer some of the common questions. I think with AI, and I'm just going to get a little opinionated for a second here. I think AI is making everybody quite insular, and there's this development of self-reliance because they're not seeking external guidance from other people. And I do it myself. I'm guilty of it. I'm just asking, Claude or Gemini or whichever tool it is that you use for an answer, and then I take action on that answer or for help creating something, and then I go and share that. So there's a lot less interaction, A, with peers, and B, with the wider market that you're trying to serve. And I think we're seeing that in the quality of posts that are being shared. I think we're seeing that in the quality of marketing that's being shared. I think there is a lot of drop in the value and the personalization or the relevance even of what's being shared on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, in emails. Some emails that I'm subscribed to, I've definitely seen a drop in quality and relevance. So I would ask you then, what is your approach to AI? How are you handling the tools? How are you managing what you create with those tools? But yeah, so to go back to my question, what are the methods that you're using to manage how you're using AI and how you're creating with AI? Because of this drop in the quality that we're seeing in marketing, in the products that are being created, because everybody's become reliant in this time. We were in this echo chamber of social media, and now we're in this even smaller, completely insulated echo chamber of the business and its AI tools. And there's less interaction with the market, the wider market, and much less interaction with peers, because you're asking the question, getting an answer, and then taking action on it. And so there's this huge reliance on AI and its output, huge trust in the output that AI is giving you, when we know it is inherently flawed, and it's taught, it learns from the wider internet. So the more flawed AI content that's being generated, the more flawed AI content, mediocre AI content that floods the world, the lower the quality of any output is going to get. And so it needs more and more refining. And actually, I think people are probably doing slightly less of that. Certainly what I have seen in some newsletters I'm subscribed to, some of the people on LinkedIn and Instagram that I engage with, there is a drop in relevance, a drop in value, a drop in that strong, unique personality that drew me to follow them or to subscribe to them in the first place. So, I have a lot of people that I speak with, and many of my clients are like, right, I want to embed AI in everything. I don't want to do any work. One of my clients joked to me a few weeks ago, which is fine as long as the tool is appropriate to the task. Whether and that's true for anything that you're doing. If you're writing a novel on pen and paper, then you want to make sure that the pen and the paper you have are going to help you write that novel. If you're editing videos, you're going to want the machine and the software that are going to make that process as smooth and as streamlined as possible. So if you're going to embed AI into your business and into your tasks and processes, make sure that the task that you want to do is an appropriate one, and B, the tool that you're choosing to do that is an appropriate tool. Anyway, okay, so that's my rant over with with AI. I just wanted to start off with that because of the prevalence of AI content in marketing and even in what we're delivering to clients these days. I think it's important that we remain aware of what is the quality, what are the safeguards I have in place to make sure that this content represents me, my opinion, my business, and isn't just the mean of all available content online. Okay. Right. So let's get back to business. So welcome to the Ops Room. These are a really informal session. They've been running these for about 4 months now. I've decided to start doing these weekly. And we're going to be talking web design. We're going to be talking marketing, automations, GoHighLevel, email, Google Analytics, anything that's a little bit techy and a little bit geeky. That's kind of where I live, and I love being able to host these sessions, just to kind of answer people's questions. And to go back to the AI, I wanted to be more present in the market, so that I can engage with people more, and not just engage with that AI tool that I'm using. To find out what are the real problems they're facing, what are the questions that they have. And I enjoy this type of Q&A session as well. So it's doing something that's fun and of service, and that's what we're meant to be doing, isn't it? So I haven't had any questions or comments come in yet. If you are watching this live, I can see there's a few people. Do pop any questions or comments you have into the comments, and we'll work on those as we go. But I do have a couple of questions, again from the beta, who's been sending me questions for 2 months now, so that's great. She's in America, so she finds it difficult to jump on live, because I was doing these at 10 a.m. Hopefully, she might be able to join one of these in the future. But Labida says that she's getting decent traffic to her website, but not getting any contact form fills. Again, that's really a question. It's more of a statement, but okay, let's break that down a little bit. So you're getting decent traffic to your website. It's difficult to know what decent is, because that changes depending on your business. I know your business is you're a lawyer, so that's fine. Let's assume that you're getting, say, kind of 5,000 visits a month, but no contact form fills. To get 5,000 visits to your website a month of proper human traffic, and have no engagement with your calls to action, means that the website's failing in a couple of different, or possibly failing in a couple of different ways. It's either not earning the attention of people that visit it, is not building trust, or there's no way for it to capture the lead. Now, you've mentioned that you're not getting any contact form fills, which makes me think that you'll probably have more of a brochure style website, where you're saying, this is me, this is my service, fill in this form, get in touch, rather than a conversion focused website. But let's look at the 3 areas. Okay, so is it earning attention? So it's really important when people land on your website that they recognize themselves. You have less than 5 seconds for this to happen. So the aesthetic is quite important, but 2, what it says when people first view your website is critically important. They need to recognize themselves, recognize their problem. So it typically would be addressing their industry. I help web designers, build legally compliant business. Although that's not particularly sexy, but it's just slightly more relevant to what you're doing, Libido. So what can your headline, your subheadline, and that little bit up the top, that little bit of body copy underneath that, what can that be that's going to scream relevance to them and to what they do? Okay, so that's how we earn attention. The second thing is to build trust. Now, that happens if you can capture them for that first 5 seconds, then they're going to continue on your website, either on that page or onto a different page. And it needs to earn trust. So we have to address their problems in a way that has great specificity. So if you can articulate somebody's problems better than they can themselves, you earn the right to trust them. You earn the right to help them. They will trust you because you've been able to describe their problems really, really well. So are you referring to their problems, or are you simply talking about yourself and your business and how you do things and how qualified you are? Because while that's important, it's not necessarily going to build the trust that you need for somebody to take action. The third thing is capturing that lead. So do you have different types of, we call them calls to action, CTAs, throughout your website for people to engage with? So a contact form is great if somebody's ready to buy from you. Is there some kind of lower commitment offer. So is there something that they can watch or listen to or download that's going to help them a little bit or solve an immediate problem, so that they go, oh, that was really good. Levita knows what she's talking about. I'm going to continue to engage, continue to watch, because not everybody that lands on your website is ready to buy from you straight away. In fact, only 3% of website traffic is in that buying stage. Most of the traffic you receive, in fact, 50% of people will never buy from you. They might refer you. They might say, oh, I found this interesting website, or this lawyer looks really interesting, but they probably won't buy from you. And then of the remaining 50%, you've got that 3% that's ready. And then we have those that are looking for solutions, so they're almost ready, and those who haven't quite realized what their problem is yet, and they're just kind of engaging with content in their area of interest. Okay. So they're the three things that I would immediately look at. Is there some way for people to engage with you? Is there call to actions? Are you talking about them and their problems? Okay. So next question we have here. I have just set up GoHighLevel and I don't know where to start. Yeah, I get that. It's enormous, absolutely enormous. It is a huge, huge tool that can do many, 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 many things. It is quite literally an all-in-one CRM. It works much better now than it used to. I love it at the moment. I think it's a great tool, and I think your small business, so up to kind of 3-5 million, can run really, really well using just GoHighLevel, because it does everything. It has lead capture, so you can create pages. You can send your lead magnet. People can download your PDF or listen to your 5 video series or whatever it is. It does bulk email. You can send your newsletter. It does social media scheduling. The automations that you can set up are absolutely mind-blowing. You can do that. What's it called? Oh, I can't think of the trendy name for it. That first comment social media interaction. Comment bananas, and I'll send you through my 5 tips on better bananas. You can automate that process using GoHighLevel. It's got calendars, so people can book appointments with you. So you don't need the whole list, but there's a lot to it, and it is overwhelming, particularly if you're not techie minded, or if you're not process minded, I suppose would be the better way to put it. So you've got GoHighLevel and you don't know where to start. The first thing to do is to set up some kind of lead capture first. So that's going to be a form or a lead magnet, some way for you to get people's email addresses. Okay, that's the very first thing you do. The second thing you do is you set up your calendar so that when people download your lead magnet, you can say to them, hey, you're interested in this, book a call with me. Okay, so data capture, calendar. And then we set up some automations to remind people to show up to the appointment that they've booked. And the fourth thing, or third, because automations and the appointment kind of go together, the third thing is going to be a follow-up sequence, and not just a generic kind of 10 emails. This is my business, this is my history, blah 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 blah. We want them, it has to have a purpose. Everything you create on GoHighLevel has to have a purpose. So when I say create a follow-up sequence, it needs to have a specific outcome that it's pushing towards. The first one that I would create, the first follow-up sequence I would create, would be to get a call booked in the diary within that first 7 to 10 days. So if somebody downloads your lead magnet and they don't book a call straight away, they then get that series of 7 to 10 emails over 7 to 10 days to get that call booked in the diary. If they don't, then you can move them into your weekly newsletter list. So they're the first things that I would set up. Okay, lead capture, appointment engine, and follow-up sequence. After that, then it depends a little bit on you and your business and what you've got going on. I like to set up reputation management, so you can request reviews on Google, so you can request video reviews to use on your website or on your marketing, on your social media. I love getting that set up. And then you can set up, your net promoter score. So you're sending out an email to your clients, and if they rate you 9 or 10 out of 10, then that gets automatically sent the please leave me a review. And if they rate you 1 to 8, then you automatically get notified, so you can get in touch and figure out how to lift them up to that 9, 10. Okay, so they're the first things that I set up. Anything else, just let me know, and I can kind of guide you what would come after that. But definitely do those first, okay? Have we got any questions or comments? Nope. Okay, that's fine. Question number 3 that I've got. I'm already getting leads on Instagram. Should I have a website? Yeah, you totally should have a website. Yes, you totally should have a website. Now, why should you have a website if your social media is working? I suppose that would be because people still check. Okay, if I find someone on Instagram or LinkedIn, more typically for me, it's going to be LinkedIn that I like. I'll read a couple of the posts and I go, oh, this guy's great. And then I'll go visit their website and sign up to their newsletter or whatever it is that they have on offer. Maybe they've got a BSL or something that I can watch or listen to. But people will always check. If somebody refers a friend of theirs to you and your business, that person is going to look at your social media and they're going to want to see your website to make sure, to satisfy themselves that you are a proper business. They're not going to get conned. They're going to get their problem solved. They're not going to waste money. All these kinds of things. So that's what we want to make sure. That's why our website is there. Another reason is that you don't own the social media platform. So you're getting, what was it, on Instagram? You're getting leads on Instagram. That is fantastic, and more power to you. But you don't own that. If Instagram goes out of business, then you've lost your lead flow. If Instagram changes the algorithm, then suddenly you're not getting leads anymore. And this happens. There's a quite a famous story about Matt Rife, the American comedian, who grew his business, grew his visibility on TikTok. And he was getting millions, tens of millions of views per video. And then after a while, it did take a while, but after a while, he saw that drop significantly to less than 500,000, sometimes less than 100,000. And because he'd been so active and so prolific on the platform for so long, he actually managed to speak to somebody at TikTok, an actual person, who ended up saying to him, look, we're just not pushing stand-up comedy anymore. So his content hadn't changed, his delivery hadn't changed, his quality hadn't changed. The platform that he was relying on had changed its focus, which meant his business suffered immediately. So your website is your home. It captures email addresses, it captures phone numbers, it holds your articles, your videos. Yeah, you can put them on Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn and anywhere else that you like, but having that hub that you own, that can't be taken away from you, that can't be changed without your consent, is key. Okay, so you own it, you control it, and it proves it's a credibility piece. Okay, social media proves you're active, or website demonstrates your credibility because it's concrete, and it changes, but it doesn't change. You can always be found there. So yeah, you should definitely have a website if you're getting leads on Instagram. If you want help with that, let me know. You've emailed me this question, so just email me any queries that you've got on how to do that or which platform would be best. Okay, another website question. I've got 2 more questions have been sent in, so we'll keep going through those. My website looks fine, but sounds like everyone else. Did you use AI to build it? Is it green and gold? Sorry. Have you noticed though? Have you noticed? I wonder if I can share my screen with you. Let me These are just two websites that I've seen in the last week. Um, what was the URL for this one? Can't find it. Okay, can't find the second one. Not really a comparison if I can't find the second one. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's have another go at this. Because it is interesting. These two people that I've spoken to in the last week that both shared their websites with me. They are completely uh, unconnected. There it is. I'm spelling it. Yeah, they're not connected at all. But I am sure you are going to see some similarities between these websites. Let me pull this up for you because I think it's fascinating. This is Dr. Ash, who is a lovely, lovely man, helps medical professionals overcome burnout and stress. And he is having this website built. They are using Claude to build it. He had an existing brand, which is why this headline font is that particular font. But this is the site. And look, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. Uh, the ratio between subhead and headline font sizes is great. It's pixel perfect. The little pieces move and interact for visual engagement. Like it follows all the rules really well. You know. Um, and then if we come to this one, Sterling House, and again, this was created with Claude. But you can see the absolute, well, I hope you can see it. You can see the absolute similarities between this design and this design. Okay, they're both green and gold. They both have these tiny movements to keep you visually interested. They both use these, uh, transitions of color when you highlight things. They both have that 1 pixel border on absolutely every element. They're both curved, um, with that 10 pixel border radius here, so that you get this curve. They all follow the same rules, and every AI website I'm seeing is following the same rules, which means they are all looking exactly the same. Have you noticed that? Have you seen that? Um, so one thing I would say, actually, how did we get onto this? Yeah, it looks fine, but sounds like everybody else is if you want a website, which I completely think you should, everybody should want a website to represent their business and their personality and them on the internet because it's a thing that you have control of. So if you want a website, I would suggest you use a web designer to create that for you. Um, Lots of different reasons, but I could fit a kitchen or I could install a bathroom and I could use AI to do it. And it might look like a bathroom in the end, but the hot tap's probably going to come out the cold tap and the toilet's probably going to be upside down. And it won't function as well as it should because I don't possess the relevant experience and knowledge to fit a bathroom, even with the help of Claude. You know, I see people creating websites that don't possess the right vocabulary to say what it is they want. And so the tool can't do it. So they have to try again and try again and try again and try again. And it takes an incredibly long time to build this thing. Whereas if they were using an AI tool to create something in their area of expertise, maybe it's if we use Dr. Ash as an example, he's used AI to create a quiz to help people identify exactly where on his scale of stress they sit, and then provide them with some diagnosis and some advice at the end of that. That's fantastic. And he managed to do that very quickly because he had all of the language and all of the existing knowledge to craft those questions and those answers and the recommended outcomes once you had those answers. What he didn't have was the ability to construct that website. He has actually ended up getting someone with a little bit of knowledge to create this. But even that little bit of knowledge has ended up with a website that looks like every other AI created website. So, if I was to create, landscape my back garden using an AI tool, which I totally could, it would take me longer because I don't possess the language to instruct it correctly. And like, I could be using that time to do something for my business. Perhaps not the best example, but do you see what I mean? Stick to your area of genius. Just because I can afford a race car doesn't mean I should drive one, because I'll just crash and die. Just because I have access to something doesn't mean I should use it for everything in my life. I still need to go to the doctor. I still need to talk to my wife and spend time with my children. I can't use AI for everything. It doesn't do it well enough. Okay, great. So let me jump back to this question. My website looks fine, but sounds like everybody else. How can I fix it without a full rebrand? Okay, that doesn't sound like a website problem. It sounds like a message problem. So it's not a design thing. All you're going to be doing is changing words and pictures. Your logo is going to stay the same. Your business name is going to stay the same. Not a problem. So this is actually the easiest thing to fix because you don't have to build a whole new website at all. So sounds like everybody else. That likely means that you're talking about you and what you do and how well you do it. We see this a lot with accountants and bookkeepers. Bookkeeper with a difference, accountant with a difference. Or they talk about the fact that they do quarterly bookkeeping. And that's like, that's like saying, oh, the car's got seatbelts. I don't care. It should have seatbelts. How am I going to feel when I'm driving it? You have to talk to the problem that people are looking to solve, not about the features of the thing that you do. Most people talk about features, services, so talk about something else, and you'll be sounding much different to everybody else. Okay. Specificity. What clients have you worked with? What changed for them? What outcomes did they get? What's the best thing that they're doing now? I know my wife Amanda. She runs a business helping accountants and bookkeepers to create and deliver advisory. One of her clients, and I will never forget this, he made £100,000 in 90 days, bought a plane. He'd been working on his pilot's license, made all this money, bought a plane. Like, that's a specific outcome for him. He's super happy. He's got his plane. Not that he, was had an advisory system, had a signature system, blah, blah, blah. Not the features of what he went through, the outcome. He bought a plane. Like, so what was the outcome for your clients? How did their lives change once you helped them to overcome the problems that they have? That's what needs to be on the website. Okay, name the result, name the client, name the benefit, name the outcome. How else can we make sure that it doesn't sound like everybody else? Oh, yeah, so where appropriate, have pictures of you, have your story, have why you got into the business. Don't put that on the homepage. That's definitely for the about page. Why you help people overcome the problems that you help them overcome. Why you are driven to help them achieve these outcomes. Again, don't name features. Keep it relevant to the person that is viewing your website and reading this. Rewrite your hero. So your hero is that first headline that people see. To make sure that it's about the people you work with and what changes for them when they work with you. Okay, most people don't do that. You'll immediately sound different to everybody else and more relevant than everybody else. Okay, so rebrand, which was what your question was, how do I fix this without a rebrand? A rebrand changes how you look and how you feel to the market. Changing your messaging, changing the wording on the website simply makes you more relevant. It articulates what you do better. Okay, so nothing's changing, just the way that you're speaking about what you do and who you are and how you help. Okay. I hope that helps. Let me jump back to here. Have we got any comments? I had those websites I shared up. No comments. Great. Okay. I've got one more question that's been sent in to me. So I'll answer that, and then we'll probably be at time because I did start late. But if you watch this, after we're live and you have any questions, just pop them in as a comment, and I'll certainly come back to them. This will be posted on YouTube as well, so you can, if you're viewing this on YouTube, just pop a comment below, and I'll answer that in a future episode, or maybe I'll just answer it in the comments. Depends what your question is. But who's this? Richard. Barely using GoHighLevel beyond email. What automations should every service business run? Okay, so this kind of crosses over that other GoHighLevel question we had earlier. What was that? Just set up GoHighLevel, don't know where to start. So the answer to that question, don't know where to start, was lead capture, appointment engine. So that's set up your calendar, set up your reminders, and then some kind of follow-up sequence. So if they don't immediately book a call with you, what is that next 7 to 10 days? What's the messaging that they can receive that's going to help them to make that decision to book a call? Okay, so that was the answer to that question, which we covered earlier. Barely using GoHighLevel beyond email. What automations should every service business run? Okay. Good question. So when I think about how to use GoHighLevel, or when I think about a business, there's a few different areas. There's how you attract people, there's how you convert people, there's how you deliver to people. I didn't come up with that, but I agree with it. How you attract, how you convert, how you deliver. So it's that marketing, sales, and client. The fourth one is your internal administration. I call it internal. I'd like to call it admin, but because there's ACE, attract, convert, deliver, I can't have another A on the end, so it's I. So the automations you should set up. Well, you would definitely have something from all of those. So there would be some kind of attract. A good one here, particularly if you're a service business, is an instant response. So if somebody messages you on social media, if somebody calls you and you can't answer, if somebody emails you, you can set up an automation for all three of those incoming messages. That's going to send out some kind of response straight away that frames how quickly you're going to get back to them. So you can have if somebody messages me on Instagram, for example, automatically send a message back that says, "Hi, thanks. This is my email address. I'll message you in the next 12 hours," or blah 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 blah. Whatever the frame is. Somebody sends you. Somebody fills in your contact form on your website or emails your business. You can have an automation set up that will straight away send out an email response that says, "Thanks for getting in touch. We're typically busy between 9 to 5, but answer all incoming messages between 6 and 7. You'll hear from us then, or in the next 24 hours, or whatever it is." Okay, so something that goes out straight away. So an instant response. You can set those up really, really easily. Your appointment engine should definitely be set up. Get your calendar in there and get your reminders, your confirmations, all that kind of thing set up. So what I mean by that, if somebody books an appointment on your calendar, they immediately get an email and or a text message that says, "Hey, thanks for booking. Here's the time, here's the date, here's how we're going to talk. Is it Zoom, is it telephone call, who calls who, is it in person, where can they park if they're going to drive to the office," all that kind of thing. And then you send them a few more messages in the interim before that appointment, so they know what to expect, so that it answers any questions they might have, so that they're excited about the conversation, instead of just leaving it and they go, "Oh, why have I booked this appointment again? Do I really want to talk to Bob? Is he going to help me get better bananas?" Whatever it is, that appointment engine is going to drive the success of the appointment. So that confirmation reminder sequence isn't just the logistical element, although that's quite important. It is how to make sure they're engaged and excited and enthusiastic about that appointment so that you can achieve a better outcome. Okay, so what do they need before that call to be in that happy, confident, comfortable place when you're talking to them? What else? What automations? Okay, I would say a post-sale onboarding. I don't like you. And sorry about the specificity there. I don't like just saying onboarding, because you can onboard a new client. You can onboard a new lead. Welcome to my world. This is when I send my newsletter. This is my social media. Tell me a little bit about yourself. That's onboarding your new lead. So that post sale, that client onboarding. And I really, really like automating this, because then everybody gets the same experience, and it's not reliant on you remembering. Like if somebody's buying from you, that's a really, really good time to ask them for a referral, because they are confident and happy that you are going to solve their problem, and they're giving you money. That's a huge commitment. So that's a great time for them to go, who else do you know that I could help? Because they've decided you can help. So who else is like you? So a great, I see people automating their onboarding, the logistics of the onboarding. This is when we speak. This is your Google Drive. This is your thing. Here's the community, blah, 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 blah. But automating that referral process right then and there, that's a fantastic step that a lot of people miss. So I would definitely do that. Reviews and reputation management. That's a great automation as well. I would have a net promoter score. So a net promoter survey, and you can add it to your client communication. You can send it as a one-off, however you want to do it, so that if people rate your business, and this is all pre-built in the system, you just need to do a little bit of setup. It takes 15 minutes and it's done. You send a little email with a 1 to 10 survey. Wherever people click on that, you automate the next step. So people, for me, I like to get my clients to set up, if they click, I rate you 9 or 10, they straight away get a link to the Google business profile to leave a review. Or what you can do now as well is you can send them a link to record a video testimonial, and you can, with little prompts to guide them in how to use, push the button, say this. You can automate that whole process. So capture more reviews, great for SEO, great for social proof. The video one is fantastic. I love it. So definitely set that up. And if they answer, rate you 1 to 8 on this little survey that goes out, then I would have an email going to you that says, hey, Bob says his bananas are bad. Get in touch with Bob. So you can call him up, say, hey, Bob, let's get this sorted out. How do we get you to a 9 or a 10? Because that kind of proactive client relationship is what keeps clients for a really, really long time. Okay. So that is, I hope that answers the question. I haven't had any other comments or queries come through. So thanks for joining me today. We've had a few people join us live, which is fantastic. I'll be posting this up on YouTube as well. If you're watching it there, then I'd love if you could like the video or subscribe to let me know that you've seen it. And if you've got any questions, just leave a comment. All right. And I'll be doing these every week at 2:00. Thanks very much, guys. And I'll see you again next week, because that kind of proactive